Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our... I can't believe we actually have a weekly podcast. This is crazy. It's crazy.
I know, right? Jared finally doesn't go into hiding for months and months like he used to.
Right.
Or is that me? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's both of us. So, what have you been up to? What are you doing? What's happening?
Actually, like I told you, I play a lot of digital board games, so I've been learning a new one, Evolution, which is a really, really good one. So anyone on, we play on Discord, actually, which we'll have the Discord link here, guys. If you want to talk retro, join some sessions like board games. We have other games, too. We used to play a lot of social deduction type stuff as well, like what? Among Us. Well, we don't play that garbage anymore. But anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of
cool don't play that garbage.
But anyone who loves board games, we use a tabletop sim. Oh, by the way, I recommend that to you, Jared. I don't know. Do you like board games?
Yeah.
And we're talking about real board games, not the like Monopoly. We're talking about the ones that are real complex and pretty strategic. So
yeah. They're okay. I mean, they take time, right? That's the whole. That's always the issue. So, what was the one? What are you playing? What's it called?
Oh, I want to also Evolution. I play Root, Lords of Waterdeep, which is a D&D based worker placement. Everdale. Let's see what else. Tons of them, man. Wingspan's one of my favorites. That's like a worker engine type game where it's based on real life birds and you get car. It's kind of like a card engine thing where you get your stuff going. Also, Helldiver 2, man. Divers 2. When you gonna get that? We gotta play that.
I love the way you say, just go ahead. Sure,
you're gonna get it right. Come on now.
Well, on my side, what was that?
I said a couple people on Discord we're gonna play with. So that's
whatever. Have at it. You've been like fostering this Discord community for like years.
Yeah, ever since, you remember when I was streaming on the main channel? I had to start streaming that again. I had to finish actually our Breath of Wild, one of the retro games was real popular. I never did finish that. I should try to start it up again. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good viewers. We have a lot of retro fans on this channel.
Yeah, for sure.
Love the retro stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing. So I'm slowly but surely, not becoming an expert at all, but I'm really, really learning a lot about these FPGA cores. That's what I've been like really starting to like look into, and very, very interesting, man, how like it's hardware emulation. So instead of software emulation, where you're trying to make the game fit whatever platform, you're working on, with this, it's like, you basically have like a system on a chip, but you reprogram it so that it's like the original hardware. So you get like 100% compatibility with whatever the game was because it thinks it's playing on the original hardware.
Oh, that's actually really good for emulation because it probably runs it smoother. And remember I told you on Discord, by the way, guys, we got a new retro area channel for people to talk about all their retro games. We were talking about Castlevania 64 and how I thought it wasn't that bad. Part 3 is still the best in the series, guys. Prove me wrong.
He's so funny. You're so funny.
Prove me wrong.
I can play Rondo. That's
my god.
No, the truth is
it's probably really great.
It is really great, and 3 is really great too. So if you go from like the original trilogy, I would recommend these days. I'd recommend playing some of the hacks, just because, especially for part 2, because they've like dramatically improved the quality of life stuff, so it's not as like jarring and what have you. You don't get like the notifications of like the day night all the time where you want to like lose your mind there. 3 is absolutely awesome. Rondo is excellent. Symphony of the Night is excellent. Like if you play all of those like back to back to back, it's pretty sick. But on my side, I was saying like I've been playing the Analog Pocket. I'm totally gonna review this thing.
Can't wait
because
that'll be good stuff,
dude. Like everyone has been talking about the Mister forever. Okay, like if you're into retro stuff, like everybody's been like, you have to buy one of these things, and it's basically just a motherboard. You plunk in like the RAM, some IO, and like away you go. Like you don't need like soldering skills and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like it's really self-explanatory. Or you can go the route of like pre-made, and you can get them if you get like a plastic shell. You can get it for like 250 $300, something like that. Now if you want to go all in, where it like displays not 4K output but like iPad resolution, so like 1440p type of thing. Those ones are more pricey. Those are like 500 US, 550. But dude, these things are selling out constantly, which I
Yeah,
find
there's a
fascinating. Like there's a huge retro market, man.
Oh, there is, man. And I'm, because a lot of people right now are, like I told you before in some of our podcasts, the gaming's kind of in a weird spot. You have these scams going on. A lot of people don't trust live service games anymore because, these companies promise the world and they never really deliver. And they nickel and dime which is weird. We're gonna have to have a podcast dedicated just to microtransactions because everyone in the world talks about how they hate it. But these companies are making billions, dude. So something doesn't add up. And it's because I think most people who are online on YouTube, Reddit, Discord, they're a very small vocal minority. The bulk of people don't research. The bulk of people just spend the money and they're done. They don't sit there, oh, shit, no one likes the fact that I spent $100 on a brand new skin. Well, F you. They don't do that. Those people are, they're doing their own thing. So we do have to have a discussion on that because there's psychology in there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But
But numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie.
No, for sure. But what I find personally like really really interesting about this whole thing is, and I've been reading a lot of like retro RGB and like laughing because it's a website that's like dedicated to getting into retro gaming, but not for us. It would be for like, like a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old and I find that fascinating that there's like this whole movement that is dedicated to folks that are just, coming of a certain age that are curious about retro gaming. And it got me thinking, it's like, it's so true, right? Like if you were like, let's say 14, 15 years old and you were just curious, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, I've heard a lot of like this Kojima game Snatcher. Well, the only official way of playing that in English is on the Sega CD. So what do you do as a 15-year-old? Like really, what are you gonna
you can't
do, right? You're gonna spend like $5,000 on the original game, the all the hardware, the converters, all this sort of stuff, and then you do a little research and you find out like, okay, so I can buy this little box, like this tiny little box, HDMI out that I just plug in USB, so I can buy like those retro bit Genesis controllers that are like $30 a pop or whatever, or wireless, whatever tickles your fancy. And the Mister will basically be a Sega Saturn, Genesis, 32X, like the whole thing. And when you play the ROM is just the original dump of the game, right? So like, but when you play it, it's identical to playing it on the original hardware because of this like hardware emulation. And I'm like, that's pretty friggin' cool. Like if you were of that age, like I look around and you can't see, it's off camera, but like I've got a mountain of old consoles, old games. And I showed you guys the other day, like the Sadiator, right? Like this thing, it's right beside me. I think I showed you guys this. Like, this is another like solution, right? Like, check this out, man. So, this little thing, it's look at how tiny this is, right?
Like a hard drive, yeah.
Yeah, it's even smaller than a hard drive. Like, I don't really have anything to show you. Like, yeah, I don't really have anything to show. Well, actually, yeah, here. Here we go. I'm just going by whatever's around me. Here. So, business card, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, there. Whoa, okay.
Like,
see? Yeah, it's not
look
that
at
big.
this. You know what I mean?
Those are cool business cards too. Yeah, yeah, it's real
It's
small.
super small. And so this goes into the Sega Saturn's video port that's in the back of the console. And that's it. Then you have your like SD card here. And that's it. You no longer need the original CDs. It plays all the games on the original hardware, but it's limited, right? Because if you have the original hardware, that means you need some kind of upscaler to get it to a modern television. And I don't know, I just over the last couple of weeks I've become fascinated by this whole thing. And then with the analog pocket, I was like, you know, I saw like when you boot it up, it says Open FPGA, and I was like, what the hell is that all about? And it turns out it's all about this stuff, but it's not as advanced as the home version, like the Mister thing, like because that one has Sega Saturn on it, N64 on it, Sega CD, all that kind of stuff. And now I've been reading because I was like, well, how high does it go? Right? Like in terms of retro, like can you like is there a PS2? Is there Dreamcast? Is there all that kind of stuff?
Love.
See, so
I'm
wait.
telling you, man.
This is really cool, dude. So I'm gonna buy you one of these, even though you said you don't like retro and stuff. But I'm gonna wait until we get, I think, the next generation. So the next generation is supposed to come out this year sometime. And there's a couple of projects. So you know about the analog, I'm sure you heard about it, the analog interactive Nintendo 64 that's coming out. That's FPGA based. So that's going to be interesting to see like the quality of that. There's the something called the Replay 2, which is supposed to be like 3 or 4 generations ahead of the Mister. And there's something called the Mars, and that's cool. That's another FPGA, and it was supposed to launch. And I'm sorry, guys, for those listening. I'm sorry if any of you are like, "Oh, you're wrong." I'm just starting to read about this and learn about this. But from what I've read, it was like the target of the Mars was really they were trying to position themselves to really be the replacement for the Mister console, whatever thing. And they wanted to launch with Naomi. Now that would be awesome, man. So I've only talked about consoles, but currently the Mister does every single console, I would say 100%, up to the like Sega Genesis, Sega CD, PC Engine CD, but that's it. After that, you start like the Saturn, they have a couple of games that are, you know, they're going like game by game type of thing because it's kind of weak. Like the Mister hardware is a little bit weak for that, but the Mars was supposed to do Dreamcast, Naomi, Atomis Wave. That I love that. I have the actual arcade like hardware beside me, and that's the one that I would definitely get for you because those were the arcade games, you know, like CPS2, CPS3.
I remember that. Those are
and it's awesome, dude. Like I'm on my analog pocket. I was telling you the other day, playing RoboCop from Data East.
Oh yeah, you posted on Discord. Like, that was so cool. I haven't seen that for years.
It's super cool, dude. And like now, all the CPS1, CPS 1.5, and CPS2 games are all on there. So the next thing that they're working on to see if they can get it like working perfectly is CPS 3. If they can do that, Naomi should be just around the corner, man. And these games, like I said, once they get the core exactly right, how the transistors were going to work and all this kind of stuff, it's identical. I've literally taken my arcade like JAMA boards and compared like Ghouls and Ghosts to the FPGA core, and it's identical. It's 100% identical. You don't have to worry like with emulation, you know, sometimes like the frame rates are off or there's weird anomalies. None of that stuff. And now I know they're working on X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I was like, dude, I would love to be able to experience these again. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I just captured about 2 hours of footage for Shining Force, so that's going to be our retro
I can't wait for that.
return. And dude, it holds up so well. Like, it's so sad that
those games don't make new ones.
Yeah,
Like Sega, man, so many IPs, they don't make anything.
Anyway, so that's what I've been up to.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, so all the retro stuff's going to be, and that's one of the reasons I think is a lot of people are just tired of modern gaming, maybe, and like a lot of those pixel games, they're quote unquote retro visuals. They're not really retro games because they're brand new games, with pixelized visuals. They're really popular right now, and it's really good for indie companies because it's so much easier for them to program that than immersive 3D visuals. It takes a substantial larger teams. You could have 1-man, 2-man, 3-man shops come out and do like Starfield Valley was 1 man, if I remember right. At least originally. And look how that's.
Yeah, man, I know. Yeah.
And it's basically, a lot of people don't remember this, but that's basically Harvest Moon, right?
Yeah.
We grew up on that shit. What was it? NES? Did NES have Harvest Moon?
Oh, God, I don't. Yeah, I think it was Super. I think it was.
Yeah, Super NES. So yeah. I love these games being popular. Like, man, we had those years ago, dude. It's like, that's nothing new. I mean, it's basic. Of course, it's much better than Harvest Moon was in terms of features and all it can do, but it's basically Harvest Moon.
Yeah, but it's still cool.
These cozy games are huge right now.
Yeah, and I find it. I just going back to some of these games, like it's just nice to be able to take the analog pocket. It's basically a Game Boy. Go sit on my sofa. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, do a battle, and that's good enough, But I can't help, and that's what my whole review is going to be talking all about Fire Emblem and how Sega was always ahead of the curve for their own, like to their own detriment, if you know what I mean. Like, it blows my mind that the first Fire Emblem released in North America was on the Game Boy Advance, right? But 12 years prior, or something like that, maybe I'm wrong with the exact, dates, there was Shining Force, and it's crazy to me that, like, Sega had, little success with it in North America, but that's not what like the Genesis crowd were looking at. And then, when you go into like the Sega Saturn, which was honestly like it still blows my mind that they were this dumb to think that in North America releasing arcade, like based games was enough. I still don't understand, because you could see the rise of the RPG and stuff. It was happening during the Super Nintendo time, and I just don't get that they didn't realize, and I think back of like just a couple of little tweaks that they could have made, and it could have really changed like their whole legacy. And I can't wait to see, like, for guys like Steven and stuff, like I can't wait to see what he thinks when I show Shining Force, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of Nintendo fans that are going to be like, oh, wow. Like,
wish we had this.
Yeah, and it was like, because it's crazy that Fire Emblem was on Famicom, but we never got it. It was on Super Nintendo. We never got it. And anyway.
Yeah, you're right. And I remember you told me, because I didn't have a Game Boy or something, but you told me get the Fire Emblem games and you'll thank me later, and I got it. I'm like, wow, this is a great series.
It is.
It's still, I have to get the Switch versions.
Well, man, that's the thing, like even like I say, like the Genesis ones, man, they're awesome. Like these Shining Force games are like totally cool. But anyways, we're gonna talk the whole podcast about this. What is on the agenda? I thought we had Microsoft news we're supposed to discuss.
The big news: they're out of hardware. They're quitting gaming in general, saying F everything, we're going back to our PC roots. No, it's pretty much what we thought. They're not leaving hardware, so we know a new Xbox is coming, because we knew that anyways, because they did last month sign with AMD. So if you're going to sign a deal, that's going to take a pretty huge thing down the line before maybe any kind of changes. But yeah, so we knew hardware was coming, but they did talk about all their games, including Blizzard's. Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass next month, guys. Part of your subscription on the 28th, I believe. So anyone who hasn't played it, you have Game Pass. something to look forward to. I knew it was coming because the sale was delayed so much. So I'm like, I'm not gonna buy Diablo 4 because I didn't like 3, so I waited, and so next month I could finally check out the game. I hear mixed things about it, but I kind of knew that. So that's why I didn't want to invest money into. I used to be a hardcore Diablo fan, but didn't like 3. So we'll see how 4 is. We'll talk about it sometime after the next one. But some exclusive games are now coming to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. Sea of Thieves, which is huge, actually. That's a big game for Rare, because Rare's kind of like, you don't really hear about them anymore, right? You hear some rumblings on, but Sea of Thieves has been thriving for them for years, and it's it's a huge community. I hear it's pretty toxic. It's player versus player, so you have a-holes out there that F you up. But hey, what happens? Yeah, that's what happens in those type of games.
Love it.
And we also have Hi-Fi Rush, which is supposed to be really, really good. I have that. I haven't got a chance to play it. And then Grounded, which is a survival game, which I have as well. And yeah, that's a really good game. I think people, if you're into the survival genre, you'll definitely check that out. So yeah, and then Pendament, which I'm not familiar. I'm not sure what that's all about. To look it up, but that's also another game that's coming out for the 2 systems. So Nintendo's getting some love from Microsoft, and so is Sony. And like we discussed before, Jared, they're not dumb, and they have to recoup this cost of the sale and making money in the future. They're going to of course have their exclusives. Their Starfield was rumored to be coming to PlayStation 5. I guess that was just rumor, but yeah. So your thoughts are pretty much what we thought last time, right? No big except for those 4 games.
The one thing I think it was actually Ahmed who said it best, as the recap of this, was he basically said, based on the announcement and the way they were talking and everything like that, they're really Phil Spencer was talking a lot about the 10-year plan, where are we going, right? And I think somewhere along the way, someone leaked information, and I don't think I think there was some douchebag that was like, oh, it's not just these 4 games, it's everything, right? They're gonna be releasing, Indiana Jones and Starfield.
Oh yeah, there's the other one that was being released, Indiana Jones. I'm not sure why it is.
So Phil Spencer, I think, well, it's not Phil, but I think Microsoft got put in a corner where it was okay, we have to address this. This is starting to affect our stock. This is starting to affect everything here, because it was just such a non-news sort of thing, and the fact that it was on a podcast was another thing. So I think the biggest,
weird,
yeah, but I think that was telling, right? Was to say that, okay, everybody relax. Whoever's spilled the beans on this is not a big deal. What we're doing is we're looking at select titles, and we're going to release those select titles on some of the other hardware, but Game Pass is exclusive to Xbox. Indiana Jones, Starfield are big tentpole releases. They're still exclusive to Xbox. This is just something that we're looking at. We're going to make a new piece of hardware. It's going to be the biggest leap in history.
Yeah, they did say that. We'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if you look at the Series X, that is a beast of a platform. I'm not sort of surprised, I think with the way they're going, at least from my point of view, I'm looking at it okay, they're going to stay in hardware. If they truly do a crazy, ridiculous console, I don't know, it's is that going to be their push to we want to be number 1 in the console race, or is that really just, what, guys? They said it, you will have the premium Xbox experience on Xbox hardware. But we also have PC, right? We have all our stuff on PC, and we'll release a couple of things here and there on the competition. But something that we should talk about that also got released. I don't know about that, but whatever.
Leaked.
Well, it wasn't really leaked. It comes from Sony directly, but I thought it was really interesting, man. I know it's not on our list, but it's perfect.
Oh yeah, the PlayStation quote that we were talking about earlier in the week.
They were saying, so this year we don't have any games coming out. Like 2024, like they're like we have no first party like big releases. We're good. We don't need them. Everything is going to be third party. But that to me, that really says something where it's like, okay, you have controlled you control the market now, right? Like where if you don't need to release huge big releases and that you can purely rely on your third parties, you're
Now,
you're in a good spot.
I wonder. I think what they mean is new ones because they are releasing their games on PC throughout like the year. So that's probably because they're pre-existing. They're not exclusives or day quote unquote day one. We'll just use
Yeah,
that.
what they're talking about is
So
like,
they are still releasing stuff on PC. That's what I love about PC, man, is because I get all the benefits of the PlayStation. Don't have to own its hardware. So I mean, there's still not everything there, but a lot of the big stuff is coming out.
yeah, and
That's good.
I think that's kind of the strategy for Sony, like for this year. Like they're kind of telling people, like, look, guys, PlayStation 5 is entering the later portion of its life. Obviously, if Microsoft just said, oh, hey, we're going to have new hardware, the biggest leap ever in the history of histories, then it's not really surprising to me that Sony's sort of like, okay, pump the brakes there. Let's start getting ready for the next generation type of thing.
How many years has PlayStation
It's
5
funny
been out?
you
It
say
doesn't
that.
feel like it's out.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like here, PS5
Well, I know it's
release date.
maybe it's been 4 or 5 years then, maybe.
PlayStation 4 was announced April 2019, and it was launched November 12th, 2020. Yeah, man. So that would explain
So
it.
4 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. Yeah, it's not that long. Usually they last 5 to 7 years. So, interesting.
Yeah, but like again, like got to follow your competition, right? Like I don't think we're gonna get PlayStation 6 next year. I don't think so. I think it's just what they're saying is like we're pumping the brakes a little bit on our internal development right now. Probably gonna do a split. So you have half the development looking at next generation, and then the other half. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we get Last of Us 3 for the PS5. Like I can see them, doing something like that. But I think it's going to be a very interesting couple of years here. Like the next 2 years are going to be really, really interesting. Seeing, I still say what we said last week. I still stand by that you will have a Game Pass type service on all devices. All devices.
Yeah. All devices, yep.
Like it's just because it doesn't make sense not to.
Not to, yeah.
That's it.
It'll be interesting. It's gonna be. I still say there's that rumor for it's gonna come to Nintendo, and I really hope so. I kind of wish that they Nintendo allowed Microsoft just to host all their servers and let them do their infrastructure, but they're not gonna do that. But as long as the app gets there, that's really good. The problem is with Switch or Switch 2, it's gonna be nowhere near as powerful as current gen, and they're gonna have to do a substantial amount of work to try to get it to work. And it's like Nintendo, man, they make money, but they're so reluctant to be. They used to make competitive systems, but they got their ass kicked years ago,
well,
and then
like
they kind
it
of got fearful, I guess.
They don't need to. That's the whole thing now. Like I am super super curious to see what they do with Switch 2.
That we'll talk about Switch 2. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about it coming out this year, but now there were reports that it's going to be delayed, which is how can you have a delay when it hasn't been announced yet? You answer that question. But now Q1 of 2025 or later. So it's a rumor now, guys. I mean, everything is a rumor. I mean, Nintendo themselves have not even talked about the Switch 2 in any official capacity. But what do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth to these rumors that 2025? What do they have coming up this year that could carry the system?
I think honestly, like Nintendo's another one of these where, what did they just release? What is it? The Donkey Kong? What was
Mario
that?
versus Donkey Kong. Yeah.
No, you hear my
But that's
cat.
a remake of a 20. Oh, you kidding? How's he doing? 20-year-old game. We're talking to get. Yeah. So they just re-released that, but it's an old established game. I mean, they did do a new engine and all that, but they verbatim pretty much copied the identical design. So it's not like they had to do a lot of creative stuff, right? So that was probably kind of easy for them. But what do they have other than that?
Well,
Anything else?
what was so the last year we had, what was it? It was the Pokemon expansion, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did that even do good, by the way?
Oh, they all
You
do
know-
good. They all do
Oh,
good.
did they?
Like, yeah, yeah. Because it's pretty much every year there's a new Pokemon
Oh,
experience.
so maybe
So
we'll have something today. I mean, not today. I mean, this year. Steven will
yeah,
probably
well,
play it.
exactly. If Steven was here, he would definitely tell us like, "Hey, dum dums, like there's this,
Oh,
that, or the
actually,
other."
thinking Steven recommend. I actually found it on my own, but Steven followed it too. It's what's his name? Jim Master Ed. Really good site if you're into it's a YouTube guy who follows all news for Monster Tamer. Matter of fact, I we'll talk about it next week because let me look at while we're talking about this. Let me look at there's a game on the PC. Unfortunately, he recommends it, but unfortunately, Mr. Steven cannot play it because he does not have. Let me get the name of it while we're talking about it. It is a Monster Tamer, but a very unique one because it's very dark and gothic. It's a PC only, so that's why Steven cannot play it. It is called. Here we are. So let me give a description. Oh, let me get rid of the sound. Let me share. Can I share my screen? I don't know if it's going to share. You'll see it. But here, let's give it a try. We're learning on the go, guys. Let's see. Tell me if you can see this.
We see you right now.
Can you see this, Jared?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I don't know if this is recording, so we'll find out if it's recording or not.
I hope it is. But if not, anyways. Tell me what you think of it. So you see, it's a story-driven. Here, let's pause this. It's a story-driven RPG with morally ambitious choices. So there's a lot of choice stuff, kind of like BioWare kind of theme, taking place in a diverse world in the early 20th century Warsaw. In this world, so basically, you get you fight. It's an RPG, but you get these gothic-looking monstrosities, and you see these guys,
yeah.
basically like Pokemon. You catch them, you like dragon
hunters, you
monsters,
tame them,
you
raise
get them,
them,
you upgrade them, and they fight for you. But it's not a cutesy type thing. And Ed, Jim Master Ed, he keeps on current news of everything on this, and it's a lot of fun. We'll post a link in just on our description, guys, so people who are interested can check it out. Yeah, it comes out on next month on the 4th, so we'll definitely be doing a recap of what I think about it. So yeah, I actually do keep up with the monster taming news because I really enjoy the genre. So
no, that's cool.
Steven watches that channel, so I think he recommended, but like I said, I already found it before. But that one is very unique. It's a single player game, no PvP or anything like that. It's no. But yeah, it's cool to see how.
Is it out or is it in like early?
May 4th. I'm sorry, March 4th.
Okay.
4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Check the thing. Is it Steam Deck compatible or no?
Let's see. It says. It doesn't say yet because it's not out. But yeah, it usually will indicate like can be played or not. But officially nothing yet because it hasn't been out.
Because it doesn't look like crazy hyper graphics type thing. Because I've been doing that a lot lately. So, like I have my Mac here, so I can use Parallels to play like different PC games. But like Steam, it's pretty handy, man. I just go on my Steam Deck. There you go.
You might actually enjoy this, dude, because I know you like the genre. And it's a different take on it. Yeah, and there's a bunch of different things coming up, guys. I actually have on my wish. Matter of fact, I really hope we could get Steven in here one of these days. I know it's very difficult for all three of us. I would love to have a podcast just on that because there's a lot of monster taming games. I'm looking at my wish list.
Yeah, so dude, just remember to WhatsApp me the
I'll
link.
give you the link.
Yeah, exactly, and then I'll boot up my Steam Deck and I'll take a look. And I do want to mess around a little bit with Parallels on this to see what I can do, because like if I were to play something like that, how the hell do I capture the footage? Like that's the only sort of tricky part. But yeah, anyway, no, very cool, man, very cool.
So yeah, we'll see about Switch 2 being delayed. There might be some truths to it, guys. Switch is on a decline though, but it's still doing respectfully. Software's still selling, but yeah, so we'll see. But do you think it's going to be 2025 though?
I don't know, man. I mean, I like a March release or something is fine. I mean, it really depends. It really depends. Like Sony, there's no chance that you're going to get a PS. What is it, 6?
6.
Like no, that would be ridiculous. Even Microsoft, they can talk all they want, but if they show new hardware this year, like later, because
I'd be
he said like later on in the year they'll talk more about this. But if they're for real, like for real, we're gonna enter another generation like next year. Because if you announce your hand now, you have no choice. You have to release it next year. You're not gonna like you're not gonna talk about it 2 years before. That would be the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
But I do know that all the hardware outside of Switch got really hurt with the pandemic. Like really, it kind of like paused the Xbox and the PlayStation. It really did. Like,
oh yeah, big time. Car industry too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can really, really, really see it where it's like the sales. Like in the future, when we look at the sales of the Xbox Series X and we look at the sales of the PlayStation 5, you're going to see that, they're not going to catch up worldwide, like the global sales. They're simply not going to catch up to their predecessors, even though when they first launched, they were outselling their predecessors. But that's my own belief that, like, the pandemic really screwed that. So I could see potentially Microsoft or Sony saying, you know what, we want to just jumpstart this next generation because we lost momentum, because we lost like 2 years basically. But I still find that a little suspect, because like because we know with Sony, hold on, how much PS5 worldwide sales, what are we at? Okay, the PlayStation 5 has now sold an estimated 48.93 million units. See what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd have to compare, but like, what was the PS4's? What was?
Yeah,
let's see.
you're right.
PS4. Let's see. Because you can still buy, can't you? A PS4?
I think you can. Yeah. Who would? But I guess some people.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. PlayStation 4. What do we got? Okay, as of September 2023, cumulative sales of the PlayStation 4 gaming console are estimated to be 117 million units. Is that for real?
Interesting.
That's a lot, no?
I would say.
Oh, no, that's true. Yeah. It's got to be true because I'm on... Yeah. So more than... this is official from Sony. So as of September 30th, 2020, so 4 years ago, more than 113.5 million PlayStation 4s were sold. So if it's at 117 now or 118, that kind of makes sense. And PlayStation 5, as of December 9th, 2023, was at 50 million. All right. I didn't know that. So they put the numbers. They actually have the real numbers now. Sort of like Nintendo does, like with the history. So they actually have all of their sales. Funny enough, guess which one system doesn't exist there? PlayStation Vita.
Oh, wow. That was a mistake.
Dude, it's impressive though when you look at this. It truly is impressive. Like, geez, man. PlayStation 1, 102.4 million. PlayStation 2, 155 million.
Yeah, PlayStation sold so many, man.
Look at this. PSP.
So many numbers.
PSP, 76.4 million. If there was no DS, that would have been considered like a phenomenal success.
Yeah, huge.
It's crazy. PS3, 87.4 million. PS4, 117 million. And PS5, this is the specific. So PS5, as of December 31st, 54.8 million. And they put a little asterisk on saying sales data on the PlayStation Vita are not disclosed. Love it. It's like the
Salt in the
Virtual
Moon.
Boy, right? Like the Virtual
Oh,
Boy.
yeah.
Let's
People
not
remember
talk
that.
about that. Let's just move
That
on.
was pretty ambitious if you think about it for Nintendo to do, but they maybe thought it would sell. But yeah, it was too weird, too gimmicky, and I guess too way ahead of its time for VR. VR is still in its infancy now, let alone how many years ago was that? 30? Maybe not
Dude,
30,
yeah.
25?
And it wasn't, like, if the story behind that is accurate, it was never meant to be released.
Oh,
Like, it was
Nintendo
like,
forced it, right?
yeah, exactly. So,
Figures, greed, corporate greed sometimes, and arrogance can be the best use. So, if if Switch 2 does get delayed, it's going to be kind of interesting because we were talking about this leads into our next topic of like back to Metroid Prime 4 because it's making some news lately. We were talking about last podcast, I believe, or before that, is we believe it's going to be a Switch 2 launch title or, definitely on Switch 2. But it looks like, according to these reports, that the Metroid Prime 4 marketing campaign is starting to go most likely in May of this year. It's going to start going into high gear. So, again, that kind of contradicts the Switch 2 delay. If Switch 2 is being delayed until next year,
unless it's not Switch 2.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, like, how many? What is Switch up to? 130 million, something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, it's possible. It's possible that it's a like a swan song release.
Yeah,
but I would be like, I'd be a little surprised myself. Not what the platform, but I've been saying for a while now that they released Metroid Prime Remaster, and apparently that did fantastic. But like, if this one is going to be called Prime 4, don't you want to release like the second and third one? Like I
exactly.
thought that was a little bizarre.
Yeah, and two, I think it's going to be, I don't know, Metroid Prime, like we discussed, the sales haven't been that impressive, right? Compared to
no, but
other titles.
Steven, who's obviously going to listen to this, like he said, he's like, Zelda wasn't that impressive compared to, so he's right, and that's true. But
the difference is with Zelda and Metroid Prime 4 is the fourth iteration of the first-person shooter. It's not like a total revamp. Matter of fact, Prime 1 was a total departure from 2D to 3D, and Zelda has completely redone their game, open world kind of. Yeah, they kind of have a little bit of survival in it too, by the way, with the crafting and stuff. So it's kind of cool. I really cannot wait. Everyone shows like their fan-made Unreal 5 version of like with the Breath of the Wild, and it looks so amazing, dude. If you ever look it up on YouTube, how beautiful a potential day could be on a real system.
Wind Waker and like Ocarina of Time, like they've been doing this. Fans have been doing this for years.
And it just looking at it, it's like it's just Nintendo holds themselves back with their gimmicky hardware. Well, I mean, the Switch isn't too gimmicky, but it's basically a tablet that can be docked and display. I mean, I guess this native controller is a little gimmicky, but it's not too bad because I play with the Pro controller. I never play with the real one, whatever it's called, the Joy-Cons.
Yeah. For me, like I don't know what's happened like in the last this generation, but I gotta actually be careful with my wrists now. Like the Steam Deck and the Switch, I don't know if it's the weight of the. I don't know what it is, but I can play for hours on anything else. Like anything else, I can play hours with a controller, and I'm totally fine. But Switch and the Steam Deck, man, my wrists end up killing me after a short period of time, and it's weird. Like
it's called old age.
Yeah, man. I know exactly. Yeah, great.
When you get 40 plus,
arthritis gaming.
Steam Deck is heavy, right?
No, Steam Deck, dude. Steam Deck is like I can't play that for that long. I can't. It's heavy. It's really heavy. And I need to check that out because is there an output on that? I've never even checked.
Yeah, there's I don't know if there's an output on the thing, but you can buy a dock.
There is
USB-C. So you could do USB-C output to a monitor if you have USB-C.
Okay. So then that could be how I could record footage on some of these other games potentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that.
Because the problem with the Mac is that OBS doesn't see the parallels basically, and I get it. I understand why, because it's a virtual machine, right? So it sees parallels, but it doesn't actually see the open windows within parallels.
Okay.
And that's why,
Oh,
like,
okay.
and you're going to see in a couple of months, like when I started to film Dragon Quest, there is a slight degradation in the quality of the video, because what I have to do, I basically boot in to parallels, boot the game up, boot a virtual version of OBS, and capture that.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
So
like
it's not going to be. Yeah.
it's not 100%, but considering Dragon Quest is a Wii game, I figured no one's really going to care. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing is Dragon Quest, the two side games, the monsters. And what was that other one that
Builders? There's
Treasures?
Oh yeah, Treasures. Yes, yeah.
Treasure Builders is a great game. That's kind of like a Minecraft.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a really good game.
They're all
Uh,
good. I've enjoyed every
yeah.
single one of them.
The visuals are always kind of cartoony and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
that's the style, right? It's an anime-inspired thing. I'm actually really wondering where the hell is Dragon Quest, what is it, 12? And
12. Yeah, there's been real no news. I think we're supposed to get some stuff this year, right?
You were supposed to get stuff last year. It's been like, I want to say it's been 2 years now or something that we had the it wasn't even a trailer. It was like the teaser of the logo. But I don't even understand why they did that, because they broke with tradition. So the way they traditionally unveil a Dragon Quest is that they'll show like 1984, 1985, 1987, and you see every single one of them while the music is playing, like the overture music's playing. And then they'll always have the same thing. It's like, and now it's time for a new quest. And then you just see like the logo flies out.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's it. And then they just cut it. They don't tell you the system. They don't tell you nothing.
Well, what are your guesses? Is it going to be Switch 2?
Oh, it's
PlayStation?
definitely going to be on Nintendo hardware for
Yeah,
sure.
Nintendo
For sure.
Has had their grip on Dragon Quest for a long, long time. It makes sense because it's the most popular system in Japan, right?
That's
Just historically, like Sony has the Final Fantasy series under their belt, but Dragon Quest has been pretty much exclusive to Nintendo for a while. But thinking of which, they haven't talked much, and I'm really looking forward to it, but they haven't said crap about it since they announced it. The Dragon Quest 3 remake. Where's this?
You tell me. I last year was weird. I don't understand what happened in the Dragon Quest like world. Like it was weird. So we had Treasures, which Treasures was originally going to be a Monsters game, and then they kind of
changed their mind.
Yeah, they changed their mind, but yet then obviously they re-changed their mind, because then we got a Monsters game. So that I was so unprepared for that. I was so unprepared. I was like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, we had a Treasures game that was supposed to be Monsters, but then obviously you guys at some point in development you said, no, we want a Monsters game, and you went and made a Monsters game, because these two games are released relatively close to, well, relatively, like a year apart or whatever, but the game takes a lot longer to make than just 1 year. But it's as if they shifted development from the HD 2D remake of 3, and I just get the sense like they pulled the resources over to these other games. But I don't know. I'm so perplexed of what the hell is going on, because they never break tradition, and yet they broke tradition with 11, not 11, 12, with the announcement of 12, and then like it's been radio silent, other than Dragon Quest X V. Oh God, what are we, 7? That's coming out, I think.
When are they? How much longer are they going to support that game? That game's actually pretty old.
Oh, it's
looks like
old.
They're not going to stop.
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I really thought V6 was going to be the final expansion. Like, I really, really thought that was it.
That was it.
Because they had like a 10-year roadmap that they said they were going to support it. Which, if you look at Final Fantasy 11, was it? Yeah. Like, Final Fantasy 11 is still online. You can still play it and stuff like that. But I don't know when the expansion stopped. I'm not I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, this is. I mean, it's nuts. It comes out in what's the date here? It comes out in about a month. It's March. I think it's mid-March. It comes out. I pre-ordered the Uber Deluxe Omega Edition. It comes with like a headset with like slimes on it and stuff like that. Which obviously I'll do an unboxing for that. But other than that, it's like just radio silence. I don't understand because I'm with you, man. Like Dragon Quest 3, that should be out on Switch.
Yeah, that would be because especially that what Square's done an amazing job of their 2D, 3D mix. Their games they've done so far has been great. Especially that one was it something Path.
Yeah, Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Man, some of the Nintendo's changed over the years. I mean, there's some dialogue where the guy goes, a little spoiler, guy, it's not verbatim, but basically, one of the characters is pretending to be a prostitute, and this is basically her pimp, and he's saying to her, "Wow, you have a big mouth. Let's put it to better. Let's put something there in it for better use or something." I'm like, "Wow!" My friend showed me that. I'm like, "That's on a Nintendo system." I'm like, "Wow, how times have changed."
Yeah,
they were remember so against anything mature. Now they don't effing care. I mean.
Yeah,
that's kind of good, right?
Yeah.
Remember Conker's Bad Fur Day?
Yeah,
You went to the E3. You were there, right?
Yeah.
We went there and they were serving alcohol at the show. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. That was such a great game because it was such a surprise factor at the time, like a talking piece of shit with torn teeth. I'm like, wow. But yeah, they did a remake on Xbox, but at that point it was.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a whole podcast just talking about Rare. It's
yeah, I love Rare, but they still do Sea of Thieves, so you guys are fans of that. You look PlayStation 5, Switch didn't get that, but yeah, they haven't really. They kind of seem lost, but other than Sea of Thieves, that's pretty much their biggest.
Well,
thing
dude, Microsoft's Microsoft. They're a lot like EA in that regard, and I mean. If you look at video game companies now and management of video game companies, there's no... I mean, David Jaffe's spoken about this a lot, but it's like they're doing a terrible job of like managing all of their studios. Like it doesn't make any sense. When they bought Rare, how do you not put them to good use? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the Stamper brothers were like, okay, peace out, goodbye, like sort of thing. So it's not really the same company anymore. They did the teaser, what was that, a year or 2 years ago of Perfect Dark coming back again and just gone. Like, again, radio silence, totally gone. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they do have Killer Instinct on Game Pass, and
yeah, they have Killer Instinct, but again, like that was super cool when it came out.
Yeah, now it's
like
I don't know. But Microsoft's been buying a lot of great companies, and I think they're going to let them pretty much manage themselves for the most part and intervene and maybe refine them a bit.
Yeah, but
like
the thing is, dude, like, and this is like I say, like management wise, there's a management problem at Microsoft.
Too big sometimes. Too big.
Well, there's something going on here because it doesn't make any sense. You have bought all kinds of developers. Where the hell are the games?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it doesn't.
Rare. Do you think? Let's be honest. Do you think Rare? We'll have to talk about Rare in a separate podcast, but real quick before we wrap things up, and before we talk about Rare, Metroid Prime 4, so guys, so we'll see. Will it be Switch or will it be Switch 2? If Switch 2 is delayed, why would you be marketing up? That kind of hints towards it being on the current platform. Maybe like it's the last barrage of farewell gift to the Switch. Who knows? We'll definitely keep you on top of that. But for Rare do you think Rare's core IPs you think they're traditionally would do good on Game Pass?
I think it's too.
Xbox.
I think it's too late now. Like
yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Like, too late.
It's sort of like Sega, right? When they announced those 5 games and they had more, and it's like the resurgence of Sega and all of this. It's like I am the audience. It's me. Like I am the fanboy type of thing. And I'm going to buy them. I'm going to enjoy them, I'm sure. But I don't know about the masses anymore. Like, it's going to take time, right? And I know a lot of people commented when I made that comment previously. They were like, yeah, okay, but they have to start somewhere. And I agree with that. They do have to start somewhere. But you've got to keep supporting. It's like Dragon Quest. I've said this for years when we were in the dark ages of Dragon Quest.
The dark
Like, well, yeah, when they stopped releasing everything. I was like, you will never become Final Fantasy if you don't release games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, it's like, oh, this one bombed, the next one bombed. It doesn't matter. You got to suck it up and find a way of keeping these titles going, you know, like, and I get it. Like, it sounds like a stupid business decision, but you don't have a choice. It's like Fire Emblem. If they would have if they would have stopped releasing Fire Emblems, it would never be the series it is today. Never.
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna have to play, get it too, by the way, guys, and tell you what I think of the I think it's Three Houses,
yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah,
and then another one too. But yeah, I agree with you, and I love that series. It's such a great series. Now, one reason I haven't got the Switch one, and you guys all know this, I talk about this with like some of the Discord members, even though our community's a lot anime fans. I'm not an anime fan, so like the Three Houses with those visuals, I'm like, oh man, why don't they just use the retro pixel? It'd be so. It's just like What other game? Like Dragon Quest 11. I loved that. I loved the story. It was a great game. Glad I got it. But the goofy, silly visuals. I know people in comments are going to say, "Oh, what the hell? You guys are known for Dragon Quest, and one of your members don't even like it." I mean, I like wearing games, but yeah, I just don't care for the visuals.
No, and that's fine.
It's silly
dude.
And goofy, and I don't like it.
And that's totally fine, right? Like, to each his own sort of thing. And I respect that. I totally respect that. But I do think it's going to be very interesting to watch these games when they come out, because it was Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you used to bring memories.
What the hell was the fifth one? Oh, Jet Set Radio. Or whatever, Jet Grind Radio.
Like, all these games were great sellers. Well, I don't know about great sellers, but they were really good games that kind of defined their. You remember Dreamcast? I played the shit out of Crazy Taxi, man. It was such a great game. What if they would do like a modern version with like having multiple online people racing, kind of like a you and I or
I get you.
Trying to do the highest score per level. I mean, they could do so. I don't understand Sega, man. They're really basically a publisher now, which is fine, but I really don't understand why Sega doesn't embrace their heritage, embrace their amazing IPs. I mean, we even had that discussion. Nintendo doesn't even embrace. Where's the latest Star Fox? Where's Wave Racer? Where's snowboarding? All those were great fun games, but
yeah, it is interesting. Some of them, right? Like, some of them I find very, very interesting, because you don't need to have the AAA experience, and that was
for every game. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what Sega back in the day. That's what I really liked about them, was like they would have their Virtua Fighter, big, shiny, like, huge, really expensive type game. But then they would have their smaller releases, and it was, funny enough, it was Sega of America that really screwed the pooch towards the end of the Genesis. Like, when Sega of Japan switched to the Saturn, like preparing to get to the Saturn, it was North America that basically kept buying properties of like, oh, we need something for the Genesis, we need this, we need that, and you can really map it out. You can see where the quality just falls off a cliff, like, it's like. And so anyway, whatever. I really think it's going to be very interesting to follow this along. But you're right. We've been talking forever. We should wrap this up. Yep. You got to go pick up your pooches.
Oh, yep, soon. They haven't checked yet, but they will soon. But next week we'll discuss some more stuff. I'll come up with a list. But yeah, I love this, trying to keep weekly.
Why not?
And what I was saying, one of these days, I know Steven's availability is extremely limited.
Well, Steven, you and I would have to take the day off work. It's the only way to really do it.
I am off on Monday, by the way, so Monday's a holiday in the U.S., so if he's available, we can talk to him.
His only availabilities are on Wednesdays.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to, we'll have to plan that ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a day or something like that.
It's me too.
I would love to get all three of us.
Yeah.
Because can't remember the last time we've ever done all three of us. Have we ever? Or if it
I don't
has,
even
it's been
know.
years.
Man. Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's been years.
Okay,
But
man.
let's wrap it up, and then we'll talk offline about future other podcast ideas.
Sounds good.
Guys.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will catch you next week with another episode. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Take care.
Take care, guys.